Show your shirt.
Boom. Boss lady for Hypeman today.
Yeah.
So many.
Oh, Helen, now I have to read through your notes
I'm
of
just gonna start.
crazy.
I'm saying don't worry about
No, I
that.
know.
What is like something you want to talk about? What's like something that you're super? I want you to talk about how you took a break from Facebook.
I took a break from all social media.
I want to talk about how I want to take a break from Doug.
I mean, that's what most women want. So, I mean,
Hey.
take a break from Doug.
So are you comfortable with where you're sitting right now?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is very different for me. I'm so close to you.
You like it.
We're all
I
very
love
close
it.
together.
Look at, I have the armrest. I'm winning at life.
For now, until Michael's in.
She's gonna shove me out of it.
Airplanes, yeah.
All right, you ladies ready?
Airplanes.
What?
I don't know.
Hey, you
There's
got
nothing.
anything coming up?
Hey, nope.
Yeah. Wait. Whoa.
Oh, God.
Think about this. Seriously.
Okay, think about when you're airing though.
I know.
Okay.
Well, you're the ones.
So
you
it's
think
not
about
this Sunday, because that will be for.
Cassie?
Yeah. Okay. God, Mom. So it's not going to be the 29th. It's going to be the 6th. No.
Okay. Just make sure.
I swear with women in my life, I can't. Doug,
I know the feeling. Trust me.
Jesus.
All right, you ladies are rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to 614Femprenuer.
Whoa. You
Whoa.
got a hype man in the building. I got this one.
Okay, let's turn it over to you.
Ooh, hype man Helen.
Welcome to Columbus's #1 female entrepreneur show, 614Femprenuer, brought to you by none other than 2 female entrepreneurs, Jen Kessel-White of Welcome Home 614 and the LKW Home Team,
Whoop, whoop.
and Miss Michael Chaney of No Drip Painting.
I like it. I like your introduction.
I can't believe Helen took over our intro.
I've always wanted to do this.
First
Such a-
time on the show and she takes it over.
Such a hype man. And most
Hey.
important is she's in my seat. I don't know what's going on today. I'm very confused, but I'm ready for it.
I'm living my best life.
Give
I
her-
like change.
Give her a proper introduction.
Let's
Jennifer.
embrace the change. Okay, with me today we have Hype Man Helen in the building of Pivot Branding and Media. Hype Man Helen is LKW Home Team's Director of Branding, and we just adore her.
Hey,
I
thank you.
can't get enough of Helen, and she is my #1 supporter, Lauren's #1 supporter, and you're just badass.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Cool. So tell us what you do with Pivot.
What do I do with Pivot? So it came from working in the automotive industry. I was a digital marketing consultant in automotive for a little over a year, and really got to see how the back end of all these platforms worked and how detail oriented a lot of different things within each individual platform on social media, what they do, how the measurements are different.
That's
how
cool.
all sorts of things are different. So getting into that and how I could be creative and help others with that. So I have always known from a very young age that I was going to help a massive amount of people. I just didn't know how, and I finally decided to go for it with Pivot. And it really stems from being able to pivot in life and being able to pivot with your business, because everything changes and you got to be able to roll with it.
I love it. I love the name.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
So, Helen, the first time I met you, I remember we just the first meeting, within 5 seconds, Helen and I were deep into conversation about 8 million different things that we wanted to do in the world and how we were going to change it and what our goals were. And by the time I left, we only talked for like 15 minutes. I remember saying, like, that girl is going to do something. Like, she's going to do something big. I don't know what it is, but I want to help her, or I want to see something happen with her.
Well, that's cool, because during that conversation, I got on Amazon and bought Tools of Titans.
Tools of Titans,
And
baby.
it showed up to my day, Amazon Prime, 2 days later. And I started reading it every morning,
Mhm.
and a lot of different things, amazing, beautiful, awesome things have come from that.
I love it. So yeah, I was like, you need to get Tools of Titans, man. And so after talking with Helen a little bit more and getting to know her better, she had these visions and dreams of doing something outside of her career. And I was just like, we have to do something to help her. Let's utilize the fact that we need somebody to help us with our branding, and she wants to get out of her career and start her own business. So what's the best thing you can do in someone's life?
Yep.
Change it, help them, right?
And we talk a lot about how those early conversations with somebody
Mm-hmm.
are like so inspiring and really often are kind of the key to catapult you in a different direction. Is that what this conversation was?
Absolutely. Because within that book, I read of an author, I forget his name, but I Instagrammed it earlier this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about, he's the founder of CD Baby, and he wrote down like his 10, I called him his 10 commandments, because I was like, everything a business should be is these like 10 or 11, 12 things. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you just got to run with what you're passionate about, and you've kicked open that door a bit for me, and I love every second of it so far.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you've been an inspiration to me daily.
And listen, if you want someone to kick open a door, Jennifer is the one to do it.
I'm gonna kick down doors. I don't kick them open. They're busting off the seams.
I don't like being inside of doors. So
No
outside,
confinement.
I think better in bigger spaces.
So what's your goal with your business? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see it do?
So I would like to focus on Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Starting out at least. Definitely want to highlight the individuals and the brands. I say brands because I think the brand is the heartbeat, the heart of any successful business.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be there in the good times and the bad. So
Branding is everything. I say that all the time, right? I'm just like branding.
Yes, it is, but you know what I think? I think people have a hard time figuring out what their brand is.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think people have in the beginning, you have a hard time putting your finger on what that is.
And you're nervous too, right? 'Cause
Totally.
What if you want to change it?
Yeah, or like how much
Pivot.
do you want to expose,
Pivot.
right? Because a lot of your branding, especially as a small business, is really the individual or the partners kind of putting themselves out there. It has to reflect you. So you have to be pretty transparent at times. You do a really good job of that.
Yes,
Jen,
I do.
on social media.
Thanks.
So, Helen, can you help people identify what their brand is?
Absolutely. I love doing that because I'm doing it as we speak. Like, I'm still learning what my brand is. Pivot's still evolving, and it's going to. That's why it's called Pivot. You've got one solid foot down, and the other one moves. So you have to be ready to change things and grow and do things that you once didn't. Like, make a video of yourself in the car with your hair messy because you're running late. And you're still going to the appointment looking
Story
like
of
that.
my life.
But there's a lot of social media that isn't what it seems to be. And I think being real on social media, like Jen does very well, as an example, really does speak to people and allows people to relate to you and your brand. And I'm a big storyteller. That's really the only way I think and process my thoughts. It's the way I get things out and on paper, and it's how I like to make videos. So I like to tell a story, and I want it to be a collaboration of me highlighting you for everything that you are, and not just what you want everyone to see, because it's important for you to be real with who you are and for everyone to relate to that, because that's what's going to be there in the good times and the bad.
So would you say the way that you would tell somebody to create their brand is just by being their true self? And
Yes.
you know, what if they're like, what if my brand's going to change? Then that's okay too, right?
Absolutely.
And I really want you to tell us just a little bit about how you went or what you felt like going from your career, your salaried career. And I remember the day that we said, okay, you're putting your 2-week notice in on this day. And we put it in all of our calendars.
Yep.
And we were like, Helen, 10 more days. Helen, 3 more days. Like, game on. How you feeling, Helen? She was nervous.
I was scared.
Yeah.
So how did I feel? I was scared, but I knew this was the right move. I knew it. And nothing could stop me
Right.
from doing it. And it just so happens that the universe knew it too, because the day before I put in my 2-week notice, was planning on it, that was on our calendar,
Mm-hmm.
I was laid off.
Oh, wow.
So,
That was such a phone call
yeah.
that I got. I was like,
guys,
oh.
it happened.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, I mean, I say, like, I quit and was going to do this, but, I mean, technically I was laid off. Nothing was stopping me from going and doing it.
Right.
Did you get like a severance package or anything?
A little one, yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of
So-
helped maybe cushion the,
Yeah, absolutely.
the change
Sure.
a bit.
So that's why I was like, my sign, I was like, I'm meant to do it.
Right.
Let's do it. And you just got to go all in, dive.
Very nice. I love that.
Helen, you have a perception on millennials. Tell us a little bit about it. You're a millennial.
I am a millennial. I turned 28 in August, so I'm like middle of the road, I guess.
What is
91?
the millennial cutoff?
I think it's
We don't-
94.
we don't
I think it's
make it,
94.
do we?
And
I-
then
no.
80,
We missed it.
7, 8? Does
I'm
that
a
count?
Zennial.
A
What?
zennial.
A
What is
Zennial.
that?
So
Did you
it's,
just make that
I
up?
didn't make it up. It's true.
We can
It's
rebrand it, sure.
a
Yeah.
pivot. It's between Generation X and a millennial. So it's like this
Okay.
really weird 78 to like 82, I believe. But I'm a 1980 baby. So
Interesting,
it's
okay.
called a Zennial. I'm not really a Generation Xer and I'm not really a millennial, but I'm so cool that we have our own name for us now.
Yeah, well, millennials are the biggest population or
Oh,
generation.
are you trying to say that my Zennials aren't as
Today.
cool as?
No, I'm just
Okay,
saying
I
that
just-
we're the majority at this point.
Well, and actually, I think that's an important kind of piece when you think about your business.
Absolutely.
So when I think about my business over the next 10 years, a big portion of my clients might end up being the millennials. So for me,
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I'm relating
already
to
are.
them.
You just don't really realize
Well, they are, but they're not, because at the same time, my client is a client that, I don't want to say millennials don't have money, but they're a client who own their own home, who are able to make, renovations, things like that. And the big portion of my clients right now, I can tell you, are not millennials, but I bet over the next 10 years they will be. So I think you, being from that generation and doing what you do, could certainly be beneficial to people like me
that.
that
Absolutely.
need,
Alright.
that need to
Yeah.
target people
So-
like you.
Michael, you are, I don't know,
Don't
you're,
say it.
what?
I thought you were going to say my age.
No, I was gonna say you're really hip, so I feel, and you can tell my age when I say the word hip, so that's great. But like, you're cool, man. You got it. Don't worry about it. Millennials, go. What do you got?
Millennials go. Well, my first opportunity in this entire digital marketing industry was in automotive. So think about advertising in automotive.
Sounds thrilling.
Sounds archaic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you do?
Well, I learned about it and different ways to go about it, and I tried different things on like my own LinkedIn page, and just read my audience to see what the older generations responded with.
Right.
And I was welcomed with open arms. I actually posted a video on my LinkedIn last night saying that I'm taking them with me and I'm going to show them this cool milestone in my life, being on the radio. I was
Right.
gonna do
That's
that.
cool.
So it's interesting to have the perspectives from not only older generations, but also getting on apps that kids are on.
Yes.
Because think about it, even though your clientele majority isn't millennials right now, what's your clientele influenced by? They're still spending 60 hours or 60 minutes a day on social media. Like
Yeah.
everybody
Exactly.
else. So
Exactly. Yeah.
who's
The
the
other
majority on social media?
piece. See if you guys can relate to this. Like, there's a piece saying what I do, which is the painting business. Of course, there's a client that I want to attract, but if you think broader,
Mhm.
there's things I could do with the painting business in terms of social media that try and capture the attention of others. Say like other brands, HGTV. Like there's a whole other component to like your business. You do things for your business on social media, but then there's this whole other environment. And Helen, you're smiling, so you know exactly what I'm getting at. There's this whole other environment you could capture, right?
Mhm.
That could launch your career, so to speak, and it not actually be directly related to my primary business, which is the painting business, and trying to get those clients.
I feel like I do that all the time
That's what
You're
we're
good at
working
that.
on, like really pushing right now.
because
Going
even though
hard.
I'm in real estate, there's only so many interesting things that you can do
Yes.
that talk about real estate. I mean, sold, in contract, who cares? Nobody. The buyers, the sellers, they're high-fiving each other.
But why are they buying from you?
Right? And it's because of, I think, my personality, because I only want to work with people that appreciate me for me
Right.
and I them. But yeah, I mean, like, just because what you just said made me think of, we started advertising on Waze, which is
Interesting.
Yeah,
That surprised me too.
right? And it was I'm just like, yeah, wait, you can advertise on Waze? Sure, I want to do that and see what happens. And we did get responses, and it's crazy to see the different platforms you can go to. Helen does a lot on TikTok. Do you know about TikTok?
Well, not a lot, but see, that's why I think it's important to know someone like Helen, because she can guide you And you might not just have to spend all your time on Facebook. There might be things like waves that's getting you business quickly, whereas on Facebook it might take a long time to gain a following that consistently wants to see you.
For the record, you definitely don't want to spend all your time in one place.
Yeah. And Helen's working, like, she's like, Jen, you need to up your LinkedIn. What's wrong with you, sister? And I'm like, LinkedIn? What? I haven't looked at that in, oh boy, I have like 700
Can
requests.
we talk about LinkedIn for a second?
I would love to
Because
talk about
Gary
LinkedIn.
V hypes LinkedIn up.
Oh.
He says LinkedIn now is what Facebook used to be.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's more
So
organic.
so I have
you say
asked,
Gary V, I get chills.
I
Do you
know,
get
look at
chills?
that.
I get chills on Gary V.
So
I
my
love
question is,
Yeah.
what should someone put on LinkedIn? Like, take me for example.
Mhm.
I want to be on LinkedIn. I don't know what to put on there.
Mhm.
What do I put on there?
Who's your audience? Who are you trying to talk to?
I guess that's the first thing I need to figure out.
Well,
I'm not sure.
So you do a lot with commercial painting as well, right? Or you
yeah,
do some,
we
but
do. And
that's what you're going to hit in LinkedIn, because what are you seeing in LinkedIn? Business owners, CEOs, presidents of companies.
everyone has
So-
LinkedIn, even if they're not that, because they're getting a job on LinkedIn.
So the first thing you should do is say, okay, who do I want my audience to be? And should you ask that question regardless of what platform you're going on?
Absolutely.
Okay, so LinkedIn, you say,
But-
who do I want my audience to be, and then what do you do?
Well, think about that. That's going to narrow down a lot of different things for you because, and you and I just talked prior to this about some different classes that different platforms offer that we're going to go through down in the future. But you have to go into each of these platforms and recognize that you can either do what they're telling you to do,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use that as a guideline and create something yourself that's a little bit different.
Helen, what do we like to do the best? We like to F up the system
Yes, we do.
anytime we can. I want to take it and shake it, right?
Yeah, that's usually like our word, like when you're about to go
You're
do
like,
something, like,
okay.
all right, F it up.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do
So
it.
I
You gotta
should
rebrand the
F up
negativity
LinkedIn.
of curse words. You should rebrand the negativity of curse words.
Yes. Let me tell you that you have to play to your audience too. So there are certain things where I'm like, Helen, I need you to repost this, but on Facebook it has to get posted like this. On Instagram, I'm totally me, and I'm like,
Right.
you get real 100% Jen on Instagram, and on Facebook it's more like family oriented, and I don't want to be like,
Right.
hey, here's me, and I'm like, you know,
But if you're thinking of targeting an audience, what's your one location is probably going to be something you want to start with, right?
Sure.
You don't want to go without.
I don't care
100
if
miles
someone
or
in
something.
California sees me,
Right, exactly.
unless they have a place on the beach they want me to come visit.
Okay, well, you had
Paint.
this massive umbrella that just went to like a quarter of the umbrella.
Yes.
Right.
Because you're basing it off of like a radius, and different platforms only allow a certain amount of radiuses, so you really have to know the details of what each platform does, what it allows you to do when you make certain decisions, and then figure out the best way to be you and maximize that. So what I did on LinkedIn, a little backstory, I got off all forms of social media for what was planned on 30 days, ended up being 11 months. Because about day 60, I realized, like, why, I kind of took a 30,000 foot view as to why I want to get on social media and look at all this stuff. Like, what is it doing for me positively? And it wasn't doing much for me positively.
You felt
so
like
I
it was
just
very negative.
yeah, well, it wasn't negative. It was just like I was feeling like I was comparing myself to something that I felt was fabricated.
right, because there's a lot of times where you can see someone's life and it's oh so perfect through social media, but they're a hot mess on.
And then you judge yourself off of,
Right.
well, I only have 70 likes, somebody else has 722 likes. Like, why?
The
Well,
other-
then you're flawed, and like then flawed's negative. Flawed's not negative. That's unique in my
Well,
opinion.
the other thing you have to be careful with is oftentimes you compare yourself to someone and you're in your beginning stages and they are in the middle of their career, wherever, and you're not comparing apples to apples.
Think about this. Back to the millennials. I had a phone in my hand every day at, what grade was I in? 6th, 7th grade?
Crazy.
So
From that point on, you
Yes,
always had a
I-
Do
phone.
you want to know
I
about my
was-
pager?
I had a pager.
I would have loved a pager in that 11-month period
Yeah.
of time. But I ended up, I lost my spot, I lost my train of thought.
Well, you
did.
had that phone for all those
Oh, the
years.
phone, yes. Okay, so I remember freshman year in high school, a senior on the basketball team was like, oh, you can't get on Facebook. It's for people in college or about to go to college. That was in 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
So I went home and got on Facebook and made one myself. I was like, who are you to tell me I can't do this?
Right.
So I went on and got it. So since freshman year, when Facebook was an experiment
Mm-hmm.
that was growing on this side of the country quickly, and probably at that point across the country in all colleges, but like that was still like in beta in technical
Right,
terms.
right.
Like they also are on record saying one of the first engineers of a specific platform, that they built addiction into it as they were engineering it. So like they knew kind of what they were doing. They had an idea of this
Sure.
experiment, but like look at the entire millennial generation that's had this
Exactly.
phone in their hand at an impressionable age and now is conditioned to judge themselves
Yeah, I
negatively.
mean that right
so
there.
like that's
is a
what I want to change
full
in
show.
Columbus.
Yes.
How
because-
would you change it though?
I want people to recognize that you can do what you love to do and help others doing it. And I want to shine a light on those people, those businesses, those individuals that are in Columbus that are accepting of themselves and love doing what they do every day and are providing value as they're doing it.
Right.
I want to create their story and allow them to share that.
I like it.
You know what? You just said something that really just reminded me. One of my biggest pet peeves are, as I've grown in real estate and as our team has grown, I find a lot of times people are asking us for advice and asking us how did we or how did you and how can I, but no one's providing value in return. And it really makes me so very bitter. And I've seen it happen over and over again over the last few months where it's nonstop like, hey, I know you're good at this, how can I do it? Or I've seen you do this successfully, can you tell me? So I'm like, yes, I'm a giver. I
Yeah.
want to give everybody anything I can, but at the same time, I'm starting to feel a little bit taken advantage of where people are just like, give me all of your information that made you super successful, and I'm just gonna take it, and now that's it.
Right.
Like, peace, bye, thanks. And I'm like, where's my value? You know, like what am I getting in return? It's so
Well,
selfish and greedy.
Take a 30,000 foot view from that situation. If you step outside that situation real quick, what can you learn from it?
I still want to be a giver, so I just really do want to
What can
provide,
you
but
learn from that situation to set, next time you work with that person, to set some non-negotiables?
right. Like,
So like make a plan for yourself that you won't let that happen, that action, whether it be them not saying thank you or them not
Right.
doing what they said they would do in return or whatever it may be. Make that a non-negotiable.
right, because I'm always the one to say, like, yes, I'll help you with anything, I'll do anything, but at the same time, like, also don't forget to say no sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's
Yes.
ridiculous how much people can take from you without giving in return.
It's very true.
So, no.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm putting my foot down. Helen, so
Yeah.
you got back on social media after 11 months.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and what
that
happened
like?
when you got back on
Yeah.
there?
I tried to think of the platform that was the least influence that I could go to that I would still enjoy and like learn something from. That was the goal, was to be able to be me and also gain value from using it.
Mm-hmm.
So after 11 months, I realized that like there's this tool that we can use or we can let it affect us.
What was it?
Social media. There's this thing.
But did you just jump full go back into social media,
No, I
or did
jumped
you
just on LinkedIn.
just on LinkedIn?
Well, here's a question for you. How can somebody that's on social media, because there'll be times, and we all talk about this, Sarah from Nesters and I have this conversation all the time, and I love her, and her and I are like, man, I just got bummed out, I saw XYZ got this client or something along
Yes.
those lines on social media, and then you just feel down about yourself, and she's like, girl, I hate when I do this, but like I'm judging myself based on other successes.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
I do it too, and I hate when I do that. But like, what's your advice to say, since you've seen it, you went through it, you experienced life without it, like what do you do?
That's someone else's success, so it's not my success.
First of all,
I'm
let's
not-
just say I think it's totally normal to do that.
Absolutely.
But
We're
this
all
is where you
conditioned to.
have to like check yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is what creates this mind trash,
Mhm.
Self-doubt, yeah.
right? And I think it's okay to a certain point. Monitor what other people are doing. Let that be a motivation for you. Let that inspire you. But it's a very slippery slope when we start comparing ourselves to other people. It's hard to not do it, but it goes back to what I just said is you can't compare where you're at. You can't watch the crowd and start picking people out and compare yourself to them because you're likely at two different points in the process, right?
Right.
That's something I learned over the last 11 months was like, or that 11-month period of time, was that my experiences, like the reason I feel the way I feel in that moment or reacting however I react in that moment, is based off of my previous experiences. No one else has those previous experiences. So we're not all going to feel the same way, react the same way, have the same opinion, but we can relate to each other in parts of it and learn from all of it. So the way I look at being on social media and maybe I'm looking at something that I don't love or it isn't providing me value, I'm still going to look at it as an opportunity to learn from it. So
I think it really comes back to mindset,
It
which
really
is what we
does.
talked about a lot.
Mindset.
Your mind has to be strong and on point so that you can do exactly what you said. You take from it what you can that's going to benefit you and you leave all this other stuff behind.
Right. You really, it's like you're going to let the mind trash weigh you down and like hold you back because as that time's going by, you're not learning anything or growing.
It's like what I shared, and you said yesterday, you were like, I needed to hear this today. And it was, visualize your best self and show up as her, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to do that. I mean, every day we go through the motions of just our wants and our needs and how we wish we can be our best selves. But what if you just were like, I am my best self. Here I am. What now?
Yeah, and you're not going to be your best self every day, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And your brand isn't either, so you should show that and be that.
Yeah. Hey, what's your why?
What's my why? My why is I want to live my life every day happy, providing value to others through sharing their stories of them providing value to others. I want to create and collaborate with other individuals and businesses, brands, to really show whoever their clientele is, their audience, who they are, their why, and how they can provide value.
I think you're going to do great at this.
I know.
How does someone get in touch with you?
Social media, email. My handle on social media is Hellie Heard, HellieHeard. And my email is HLNSCHEB614@gmail.com.
Yes, and she's my hype man. So don't everyone try and steal her, okay?
JKW, how do we get in touch with the finest realtors in Columbus?
Oh my gosh, please hit me up on Insta. You know I love that, at Welcome Home 614. And I'm also at Welcome Home 614 on Facebook. And you know what? I just have to say that we would love it if you liked our Facebook page at 614Femprenuer, FEMPRENEUR.
Yes.
Give us a like, would ya?
Please.
Michael?
Ain't too proud to beg. That has nothing to do with millennials. That has nothing to do with millennials.
How do we get in touch with you, Michael?
You can check out the No Drip Painting Facebook page and see all of the great projects we're involved in around Columbus.
I love it. Hey, Helen, I feel like I can talk to you for hours. I mean, I always do.
We will
Let's
do
go
this
porch
again.
sit or something.
Yeah,
We'll do this again.
porch sit, my fave. Okay, thank you, Helen. We love you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.